Hey everyone, so in today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can make better custom views out of your window instead of looking at the plain old Bloxburg map. Now I did a video about this in 2018, so that is 4 years ago. It doesn't seem like 4 years ago, but oh my goodness, it has been a very long time. Now, this method was kind of a lot of work and it didn't look amazing and it made your house a little bit dark. So this is the tour I did when I made this hack in 2018. So this method is very aged and does not really represent Bloxburg anymore. So we are doing a new method today. That is a lot easier. You still need advanced placing if you want to make that work. So anyways, let's get to it. Let's make a little room. Some walls, flooring, painting. So it just made a very basic looking room. Let me add some paint to make it a little more cozy. Okay, so we have our example room down. So that's the most important part. Of course, you need to have a room where you want to add your custom window or your custom view. So for the window, I just added some pillars and put a structural on top. You don't have to do that, of course. This is just me wanting to detail something, but let's continue. And so as you can kind of see with the old method, it's kind of hard to show in this video, but you actually created a box around your window, which made it super dark, and then you had to add custom windows, but your living room was still super dark. Now, we do not have these issues anymore with the new method because thank Webtus for this. We're actually gonna go into the basic shape. So we're gonna need a basic shape for this, and you wanna take the transparent cube out so that it doesn't really bother the view or anything. You want to make it as narrow as you can. Well, not as narrow as you can, because on that basic shape, you will have to add a painting. Dragging that up. As you can see, you can barely see it through the window, which is what we are looking for. Then going into decorations, we're gonna look for that transparent decal. I'm just gonna type it because I am too lazy to search for it. And we're gonna wanna take the one-sided decal. So square decal, and then you have two-sided decal. We wanna take the square decal, the normal one. Put that on top right here. Drag that out to the size of your window almost. I'm going to be placing a block in here just so I can see how big it actually is. So black color, something like that. There we go. And if we place that in front of the window, we will actually see that we need two decals right here. You cannot see it from the back. That is because it is one-sided. Make it go as close to the window as possible. As you can see, this is not big enough. Gonna resize it a little bit. Now, because this is one-sided, this is kind of hard to work with, but I guess you learn it pretty easily. Dragging that down a little bit, and then pushing this down on this decal right here, or on this, square. Copying that and pasting it on top. Actually, I'm gonna have to make the basic shape a little bit larger for my two decals to work. Now, of course, if you have a small window, this will be a lot easier to do. Again, taking the basic shape that we placed, the transparent basic shape, and placing that as close to the window as we can. I kind of hate how that is coming through, but it's whatever. Right, so this kind of looks good, doesn't it? All right, moving my decals again, because I'm gonna make my basic shape a little bit smaller. Now, the smaller you go, the harder it actually is to put your paintings on there. So it's really up to you as to how detailed you want to go. As you can see, it easily inverts, or at least goes diagonally. Putting the other basic shape on top. Okay, and then moving my pillar, which you can barely see at this point. I'm gonna move it right in front of the window here. And so if you look outside, you can barely see that there is a pillar. However, it is too close inside the window right now. As you can see, I can barely move it. Moving it back, placement grid small. And then you kind of want to just drag it out a little bit so that there is some wiggle room. As you can see, that looks amazing already. Okay, and now we want to look for a nice view that we can put in here. Let's say this apartment is in like a big city or something, and you're looking out into the big city. So going to our best friend Google, but you can do anything. If you want to look out on a mountain, if you want to look out on a forest, you can do all of that. Just gonna try and look for city, of course, sports, which don't interest me at all. And now it's very important to kind of look for the right perspective, like as if you are looking outside of an apartment window. For example, if you do this, flying up high, that is nice. It will look super weird in Bloxburg. This is kind of a nice view because you could be in an apartment and you're at like eye level with the other apartments. Now, do I prefer this view over other things that I've seen? Definitely not. But I do think it's the most realistic one so far. I mean, technically we could do this as well. Imagining we're just in a tall apartment. So maybe I'm gonna go for that. But this one looks straight out, so it looks like we're kind of high up there. So downloading that. Now I do remember in my old video, I linked a website that's super useful, and I will come back to that in a second because, as you can see, you can divide your image into 3 parts as well. Now, this is useful if, for example, you have, for example, a room. I say for example a lot. You put a window, let's say here, and then a window here. Now, if you want to add views to both of those, you're not going to put the same image into both of these windows. So you're going to want to split your image up into 3 parts. So part 1 covers this window, part 2 covers nothing, and then you have part 3 out of this window, so it looks more realistic. Actually, I will do that in a minute so that I can show you that as well. But we're gonna focus on this room first. So we have 2 parts on top of each other, so we want to split our image into 2 parts as well. And I will link this website in the description. So parts in width, nope, 1. Parts in height, we have 2 parts. Yeah, I'm gonna convert it, just do a JPEG, although you might want to do PNG, but JPEG for this will be fine. Pressing OK, downloading my images. And as you can see, my image is now split up into 2 parts. That's what we wanted. Going to Roblox, create, then going into decals. Probably know this already. If it loads, that is. Choosing your files. So for the bottom one, I'm just gonna do NYC bottom. And for the top one, I'm gonna do NYC top. Going out of build mode. Now, it might be a good idea if you move this in closer to actually add in your decals first, because I kinda did an oopsie myself. I cannot see it now. I'm gonna paste the image ID. Oh, right. If you don't know how to do that, the image ID for your image is if you click on the image that you just uploaded and you go into the link, you can see the little number right here. And that number is your image idea. So you want to copy that, not idea, ID. I always struggle with those 2 words. Don't come for me, please. And for the top part, we're gonna do the same, pasting the ID. I don't know if the images will have loaded in yet. They have, and this is what we are looking at outside our bedroom right now. Now, the cool thing about this, since this is outside, I could actually move it in a little bit closer or just add a floor or whatever to make it a little more realistic, because right now we're on the grass. But the cool thing about this, now, we have made this one-sided, so people can still look inside. Keep that in mind. You can't look outside. People can still look inside. If you make this 2-sided, you will see the same thing on the other side. So basically no issues there. You can also just, I don't know, put like a basic shade behind it or something, if you don't want people looking inside your house. But a 2-sided decal can actually do that. I'm gonna do that right here. But so as you can see, we are now looking at the New York skyline. And what I was saying is that if it's dark, since this build is outside, it will actually kind of look a little bit dark as well, looking outside of your window. And I just kind of love how it looks all together. I don't know why the bottom part is kind of glitching out, but it does work. It does look like this, and it's really nice to just look at. Now, for this part over here, I'm gonna use 2-sided decals. Decals, I don't know how you say that exactly. Same thing, taking out a basic shape, making it transparent, making it as small as possible, dragging that out a little bit. Sometimes it's so hard to see like transparent basic shapes, but we'll do our best. And now, same thing, going into decorations, taking out our decal, but the 2-sided one this time, just so we can see what it looks like. Again, just putting a black image in there, or this, yeah. I mean, it's the full image, just so we can see that it matches out. But this is a 2-sided decal, so as you can see, you will see the same thing on the other side. I don't really like that because I like to keep it just for inside of the room and make the outside look as normal as possible. But it's really up to you as to how you want to play it, of course. Okay, so the decal is a little bit too high right now. Okay, so this seems to be almost perfect. Gonna stretch it out just a tiny bit more. Okay, this seems about right. Now, as I said, or as I mentioned at least, you don't want 2 of the same images looking outside your window, so we're gonna fix that. Now, this image is kind of amazing for what I want to do because this room is kind of ultra wide, so we're gonna have to work around that. It is a little low though, so I'm kind of looking if I can find something else that's interesting. This is interesting, but still, again, a little low to the ground, but I think we can manage. Downloading that. Again, same thing, we're going to split the image into parts. Now in height, we do not need to split it now, but I do want to make 3 parts. As I said, 1 part for the one window, 1 part for the middle, and 1 part for the side. Because if you do 2 parts and you place a part here and you place a part here, it will look like there's nothing in between and it will kind of look weird. So 3 parts, taking my image and then splitting it the usual. Going to create again, decals. And I'm not even gonna upload the middle part. So we're gonna do forest 1 or forced. Okay, I made a typo, but that's completely fine. And we're gonna do forced 3. Now the easy thing about two-sided decals though is that you can see them from the other side, so you know exactly where to put your decal in. So this is one side of it. I hope we have the correct direction for it. If not, we'll have to swap them. Looking inside, this is what you get in front of your window. Now, it's not an amazing view. It could definitely be a lot better, but it's something, you know? And as you can see, it kind of just runs through the wall and continues right here. If you would have just cut it into two parts, it would have been weird unless you drag your decal out all the way to the middle, and then same here as well. But I'm actually happy with this result as well. Now, of course, this looks a lot better because we did a lot more effort for this, but yeah, this is the new method. So going one side, you can't even see it from the outside. It doesn't ruin your house. You don't have to put boxes around your house. So that's really easy to do as well. If you want to do it on the second floor, you just put two of these transparent basic shapes on top of each other until it goes up to the window, so you can place it on the second floor as well. It's really easy to do. It looks harder than it actually is. Now, anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I hope this video helped you out. And if you ever wondered how people did that, well, there you go. So anyways, going to leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button and please subscribe.